Hey everybody, gonna do office hours with my Teach Hoops community. Um, so, hope you enjoy. Uh, I have to figure out how to get YouTube Live landscape rather than portrait, but we're gonna leave it at portrait because that's the way it's gonna go right now. All right, let's see where we're at here. It does say back in 5, but that's not the case. We're gonna go live here in a couple minutes. Let me pull up my hours. No one's on yet, so that's good. So again, all of you that are watching on, let me get my mic going here. Anybody that's on YouTube that's watching this right now, uh, again, I apologize. It's not in portrait. That it's in. It's not in landscape, but it's in portrait. I'm giving you kind of a sneak peek of what we do in our office hours on teachhoops.com. Uh, so if you have questions or comments or something like that, leave them down below. I will get to them after I get to our member questions here in a little bit. I know they've got a bunch of them, and I just got to make sure everything's all set for them. So uh, let me go make sure everything is set. I can swap the screen. Uh, something else. So again, if you have any questions, you can leave them over in the chat. Leave them down below. I will get to them as soon as I can. I'm going to close a couple of these things out. Please be patient here. I know I see people are on, but people are not. And again, go over and check us out, www.teachhoops.com, for coaches who want to get better. Great resources. I would say it's the best coaching membership site on the web. Again, I'm biased. I'm trying to find my basketball. So hold on. Find my basketball. Not. That. Ooh, there's one. I like this one the best. Big. All right. And again, if you have any basketball questions, this is the place and the time to ask. Put it in the Q&A. Go down below. Um, if there are chat messages or anything that you need answered. I am here to answer questions. All right, I'm gonna get ready to go live here in about 30 seconds for those of you that are on YouTube. Um, all right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bingo! We're live here. Um, all right, today we are going to go through some Teachhoop member questions. I've got some that have already been sent to me, so that's pretty easy. Um, Anybody that's listening to this live can leave questions. Otherwise, you just have to hang along for the ride. Um, one of the first questions I had was how to attack a triangle in two. So I'm going to walk through that. So I'm going to, for those of you that are listening, I will try to describe this. Those of you who are just listening to it live. Um, but what I'm going to try to do here is kind of walk through that. Those that are members of teachhoops.com are actually seeing a screen right now with a basketball court on it, which makes it a little bit easier. So let me, I like the black here. All right, so I gotta get my pen. So we have a chord here. So we're going to do a normal triangle in two. So how would we attack a normal triangle in two? So a normal triangle in two puts a person at the free throw line, puts one at the low block, puts one at the other low block, and then puts two chasers. So we'll put a chaser here and a chaser here. And usually I use X's when I'm doing these things, but it's just easier to kind of, oops, maybe I'll just, I'm using dots at this point, but it doesn't really matter. Um, so I'll put one there. So there's your normal triangle two. One person at the free throw line, two people chasing, two people at each lower block. Now, offensively, how do we attack this? Um, I like personally to overload a side. Um, it really will depend on how the rotation is. So you're basically going to have two people that are going to be defended. This person right here and this person are going to be basically chasing at all times. So what I like to do is basically this tends to be a small forward or a guard at the free throw line. So what I like to do at that given point is I like to um, I like to overload a specific side and put at least one of the two guys or gals being chased all the way onto the other side. So the way that works is I put one here. I'm going to use X's for this. Um, I put an offensive player here. I'll put an offensive player here. I'll put an offensive player over here. And I'll put an offensive player over here. I will put one of these two people that's chasing over here. Okay? So that means that one of the chasers is weak side. The rotation becomes hard at this point because who takes who? Um, who comes out and covers the wing? Let's say this person is actually chasing this one. So they'd come over and they would guard them. Let's say the high post to the free throw line comes over and extends. I agree. We can live with that. So I can have that. But then there's a problem with these two. Um, is this one going to come all the way out and then we're going to get a low block? Yes. Then you've got this whole weak side for movement, for skips, for flashes for the person. If you really want to kind of throw them for a loop, is put one of the chasers over here on the overload side. Especially with a triangle and two, the spots that are open are the elbows. The elbows are really open. So another thing that I will do to counter this is, let me put my eraser on here. Is I will start in a 1-4 set. So I'm erasing at this point. So I will start in a 1-4 set to kind of counter them. So that because normal, and I'll put the two people that are being chased on the outside. So I will put a chaser. I'll put a chaser up here. I'll put a chaser over here, and then I will 1-4 it. So I will have someone bring the ball up, and then I will put two people at the free throw line at each elbow. So all of a sudden it forces the bottom two guys to come up high, and 1-4 sets are easy. If you start in the 1-4 set and you pass, it's easy to get to that overload set in the sense that if the ball goes from the top to the wing, then it's really easy. This person can go all the way through. This person can dive down. This person can be in the high post, and then there's our overload against that triangle in two. Let me apologize for my voice today. It is not pretty. It is cold season and all that kind of stuff. Um, so that's how I would definitely attack a triangle in two that way with that high 1-4 and an overload would be a great way to kind of attack that. All right, so hold on, let me stop my share here. Hey everybody, I was just going over a triangle in two. There was a question about that earlier, so I figured I'd just get that one away. There's one other question. Let me go back. Um, Let me go back to my shared screen here. Someone else was asking earlier in the week about gotta find my pen. Here it is. About how to break a diamond in one that doesn't start on top. So let's say the diamond in one starts at. Oops, that is the wrong thing. Hold on one second. So the diamond in one, rather than starting right at under the basket, the diamond in one starts. I don't like the red. Let's change that color. So one person starts here, and then they kind of slide it back a little bit. This this tends to be what we see in our league more often too, because it's really hard to get it full court. Um, I like a 1-3 set, 1-3-1 set against this, and all you got to do is kind of shift that down. So you basically they're going to trap in this region here, in this region where the old hash marks used to be. So what I like to do is I like to get a 1-4 across at that point. So the person with the ball here, um, and then literally like one person here, kind of moving back and forth, one person there. Because then once the ball gets entered, one of them is going to be open. Once that ball gets entered to like a wing, all the way across, then we can get our cuts, and it's really hard for them to take care of those cuts. The cross cut across the front of the face is really hard to defend. I think Bob was the one that asked that early in the day. So anyway, so I can diagram that up better than I can trying to use my finger here, but that kind of that 1-4 set and then the cuts across, like so the ball gets entered from the point guard to here. These cross cuts are really hard. You can even have this person cut and this person and the five over here cutting to the middle, and it opens it up a lot. All right, so that's it for the two questions I had before. And I'm sorry I sound like Kermit the Frog. This was not me yelling at officials. This was just a cold, I think. It's been going around my team. All right. So, you guys have any questions up above, Todd or John? Shoot away. I'm good. I'm good. You know, trying to get my team healthy. 30 years of coaching, it's the worst. It's the worst we've ever had in 30 years. I mean, it's crazy. You know, I had one of my. Yeah, I mean, we had I played Thursday, Saturday this week, and I didn't have my starting two guard all weekend. He had to go to the hospital. He had like 104. I think it broke yesterday, so hopefully we'll have him back end of this week. But it's like, wow. I mean, I haven't had my starting five in since before Christmas. That's crazy. Yeah, it's like band-aids, you know. But we're doing. It is good, good. And why? Why? Well, go ahead. Right. Okay. So you went young, and you had 4 games in one week. What days did you play? What you played Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Oh my god. Okay. That's crazy. Okay. Right. 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 And the thing is, what I tell people when they go when you when you have a young team, because I have a relatively young team too. What I tell people is when you go young though, then that's when you got to get your team and your community and your family standards set, because they're just happy to be there. To be honest with you, So they're like sponges. So that's when you can really teach them, like, this is how we do that, this is how we do pregame. This is how, because their eyes are about this big and they're just happy to be there. Um, so that's what it's really good when you do go young, when you do have a young team, you just got to make sure because that will wear off. I'm going to tell you, the bright lights and all that kind of stuff's going to, but if you've already set all of your expectations and all of your um, rules as far as what's expected, it's going to make life the next 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is better moving forward. Um, because they're just happy to be there right now, and there's really no pressure on them, and they're learning and blah blah blah. I see that. I mean, I always see that when I move youngsters up. But then it's like you almost got to sometimes be as hard or harder on them, just so they know that here are the expectations. Here's what's coming in the future. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I would definitely make sure I'm doing that. So when does playoffs start for you? Wow. We were talking about that after our, so it's February, I'm taping this, was February 11th, February 10th. So we were talking about that. We haven't even had our seed meeting yet. That's like it's crazy. Like we literally play our first tournament game in March. Like yeah, so it's March Madness, but it's literally March. Oh, really? Okay, and that's the way it is around most of the country. So end of February. So then, when do spring sports start? Do they start right away? Oh, they're oh, wow. Okay, so let's. I don't know if you have any questions, but let's talk post. Let's talk postseason stuff with your team, so we don't forget to do that. So all right, so let's say things don't go well on Tuesday and you lose. Season's over, then what happens? Okay, you're done. So you collect your stuff, you have a banquet, and you're finished. Whatever. Okay, so yep. So that's the first thing you want to. It's like a visualization thing. You always want them to see where they want to go and what they want to do. So that's good. I agree. So if you get eliminated from the tournament, you make sure they go as far as you can go and watch that trail. So then, what do you do? Do you sit down with each one of them? What do you do then at that point? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So here's my plan is like I would have an exit meeting with all of them. Like sit them in the locker room and have a talk and here's how the season went and here's how things go. And I got some of this stuff on Teach Hoops too. I'll put your email me and I'll send you in the right direction. But anyway, so I would have a post meeting with everybody. So this is the way I do it. I get everybody in the locker room. We have a talk. We talk about the ups and downs. We're a family, blah, blah, blah. And then I say goodbye to the seniors. We do our kind of ritual things with them. And then they leave the locker room. I'm sure we have the banquet after that. But anyway, I'm done with them because I'm not going to coach them anymore. And then I sit everyone else down and I talk about what the expectations will be for the spring, what the expectations are for the summer, what the expectations are for the fall. What do we want to do? Because the people in this room are going to help us do it. Um, and there'll be people not in that room that will help us do it too, because there's underclassmen, whatever. Um, especially in a big school like mine. But anyway, so then I have I have them fill out a form. Um, then again, I don't have it in front of me because I know we're going to talk about this. But what are your goals? How are you going to reach those goals? All that kind of stuff. It's basically an outline for me because then I sit down with each kid and my assistant coaches, and we have a good 15 to 30-minute conversation about what we saw this year, their strengths, their weaknesses, what are they going to do to try to make the team, where do we see them now, where do we see them next year. Um, and I try to do that within a week of the season ending because I still have their attention. Anything after that, I don't tend to have their attention. And they get distracted with baseball and girlfriends, and the weather gets warm and blah, blah, blah. And then I keep those sheets. So that's the first thing. So I have everybody do that. And then in the locker room at that post game meeting, what I do is I have the kids that are leaving because they tend to be as honest, if not more honest. And then I have all the kids that are coming back rank everybody in the program. So they rank themselves and they rank the kids on the team and they rank the kids below from number 1 to number 38. No one sees it other than the kid and me. And the reason I do this is like most, like when I coached Wesley, most people had Wesley number 1, the best player in our program, at least one of the best players in the state. So that was easy. But I want to see where they see themselves and where the rest of the players see them. So I get this whole Excel sheet. I got a blank one in Teach Hoops I can show you that, and then I basically input the numbers and I go, hey, you see yourself as the fourth best returning player. Everybody else saw you at 9 and I see you at 12. So, okay, there's a differing. And most kids are within, it's a stats teacher and me, most kids are within a standard deviation. But some kids are like, they think they're the third best player and I got them at 22. It's like, whoa, we got to have a talk. um, so it's a good free, that's my phone ringing. That's a good free kind of evaluation for them to kind of see where they kind of fit. Um, I've never had any problems with parents or anything because no one sees it other than the kid and me. But I can say, hey, all your teammates ranked you 7, 7, 7, 6, 7, 8, 6, 6, and you ranked yourself 1. So it's not just me seeing that you're not in that window, it's everybody. So, we're not in reality at this point. So it's a great evaluation tool. That and what they write out, they write out the, da da da. So it gives me a starting discussion point, and then I got to probe deeper. Like, I'm not a very good shooter. Okay, you're not a very good shooter. What are you going to do to become a better shooter? And don't just say, I'm going to get in the gym. Well, what does that mean? That kind of stuff. So it's an outline for me to sit and have a conversation. And I always have at least one of my assistants with me at all of those discussions, um, because what they hear and what I say is not always the same thing. And I want another, at least one more adult, if not two, to verify that. Well, not that's. I didn't say Johnny was going to get cut. I said Johnny needed to do this, 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 this to be better so he can make my team. Because Johnny will go home and say, Coach said he's cutting me, and I go, that's not what I said. Um, so that's why I always like having a couple assistants in with me, and they have other input, and some of them are it's good cop bad cop kind of thing too. Um, but I think that's really important considering you're a new coach, considering you're trying to change culture. I would really try to do that with every one of the kids. And then those evaluation tools are great in the Excel numbering thing in the sense that sometimes the seniors are even more honest. The ones that are leaving are even more honest with the ranking of the returning play because they don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Those tend to be really good ranking. And then I have all the assistant coaches do it and I do it. Um, just so we can then I can pull that sheet out. Kids only see their strip, but then and with no name, so they don't know John gave him a 4. They don't know. But they can see all that and then I have, a starting discussion point with them. I do. I do. The evaluation, all that. So I'll write myself a note right now. I just got to figure out where it's okay. It will probably be a postseason. It'll probably be a mini lesson under postseasons. Um, it's in there. I'm not sure where it is. That's my spring job is I'm working on a bunch of youth stuff too. Um, So I want a whole section of just youth, how we handle youth, all that kind of stuff. Um, and I got to clean up. I got to clean stuff up. Yeah, I haven't had time. I'm like juggling three balls right now. So, and I'm not a very good juggler. I know. Okay. Okay. Right. That you're not supposed to be watching the ball. Yeah. Yeah. You're supposed to be in this spot. Yeah. 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 Nope. You broke up. Is that me or you? Right. I hear you. Yeah. I got you. I got you. Say it. Say it. Say it again so I can hear it again. There was a little break up there. Say that again. Right. Yep. Right. Yep. Yep. Right. That's a fair comment, in my opinion. Yep. Yep. Well, yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't either. So right. You got to talk. You got to. Yeah. I got one on Thursday, and I was just defending my players. I'll go get one if I need to get one. So the hard thing about all I ever ask from officials, and I'll tell them this: do you have three or two at varsity? Three. Okay. So I'm always talking to the one nearest me and just saying, "Hey, what did you see there?" Blah blah. And I'll blow. I think the key is in the pregame meeting. It's like, "Hey, all I expect is conversations with me about what you're seeing." Because I think the comment you made at the JV level was totally appropriate in the sense that all I want is a consistent whistle. So my guys know how to play the game. If you're gonna call the hand checks and they're hand checking, call it. That's fine. They should adjust. If you're gonna let them bang underneath and you're not gonna call it, cool. But then you got to be consistent so they know how to play the game. Um, and that's all I ever expect from an official is converse to me what you're seeing. And I'm telling you, the best way to diffuse anything with me is, oh man, I missed that, Steve, or wait, I was out of position, or oh, that could have been, yep, yep, I see that. As long as they're conversing with me, I'm fine. It's the ones that ignore me um, that I tend to have the problems with. So I was right, right, right. Right. So that's what I always try to do is shift it to. And the thing is, that will wear off. I think for you in the sense that the season's almost over. Next season, blah 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 blah. Do you have a commissioner that hires your officials, or do you hire them? Okay, it is. Right. Right. right, over and over and over again. And that's the problem is you keep getting the same officials over and over and over again. Um, it just makes it that much harder. I agree. Um, we do the ranking. Yeah, yeah, we have a rating system for the state and whether they get invited for regional, sectional, state tournament kind of thing. And then our commissioner is really good. He'll listen to our input. He does all the hiring of officials. You know, we're one of the bigger schools in Wisconsin, so we tend to get people want to work our games. Um, so we get really good officials, to be honest with you. That will converse. They're doing college games, that kind of stuff. So I think for you this year, you just got to cut your losses this year, and then I think um, that would be a great thing for me to do some research on too, because I think how you because how I've dealt with officials over the last 30 years have definitely changed. Um, I still let them know I'm disappointed, but it's more like as long as you're conversing with me, I got so many other things going through my head that it's gonna have to be really bad for me to consistently be yelling at you. I gotta yell at my guys, like you said, for not boxing out, for not getting the help line, those kind of things. Um, but it's interesting. Well, you'll definitely mellow over time. I can tell you that. And yeah, I mean, I can tell you a handful of games that have been decided by officials. The only and the thing is, I tell our boys because we've won some state titles. I go at some point along the trail, you're going to get a bad whistle that's not going our way. So during the season, it's going to happen too. So the better we adjust to it, the better off we'll be when you know we had four guys in foul trouble on Saturday last night. Four guys in foul trouble in the first half. It's like, well, that's just forcing me to play different kids. It's forcing me to um, do that kind of stuff. So, um, you know, that's the way I look at it. That's part of me just getting older. It would be. We could have a great podcast. We'll have one too. Officials versus coaches. That's a great idea. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. How good's the team you're playing next this week? Right. Oh, it's really hard. Right. Yeah, and the thing is that in tournament time you gotta start selling them too. It's like it's a brand new start. It's a great thing about high school basketball. You know, everybody gets a fresh start. Let's go. Who knows? Watch Hoosiers with them. Weird things have happened. Yeah, yeah. So it's like that's all it takes. Um, hey, so he liked the box. I texted Wesley and told him um, that he got it, but good, good. All right. Well, you tell him to keep. You tell, yeah. So will he be? How long will he be in your school before they try to get him into like a work learn thing or? It's like one more year. All right. You tell him to keep working, and Coach Collins will find something. When I see Wesley usually comes home over All Star Weekend, so hopefully I'll see him this week. Yeah. So hopefully I'll get to see him. So if I do, for sure. Yeah. 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 Awesome. Good. I'm glad it worked out. Anything else? The, there's some stuff, but I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep. There is. There's some great weight. There's awesome great. It's not about pushing big weights either. There's some great weight training stuff on Teach Hoops. So go look for that. Somebody from the UW came in and did that for us. It's awesome. Um, I wouldn't worry. I really wouldn't worry about getting in shape per se, like conditioning, unless you're working on agility, speed stuff. Because you can get them you can get them in shape in the fall. So there's some yeah, there's some agility stuff in there that I would do, and then I would definitely do I the game's changed so much that you have to be physically strong now. Um, and the problem is, especially if you have a young team, they're gonna lift weights and they're not gonna feel like they're getting stronger because they're not done growing. It's hard for boys to put on mass while they're growing. They'll get stronger, but they won't put on mass. So they might not see the benefits of doing it, but in the long haul, it's going to pay off for them. But yeah, there's some great stuff in there, breakdowns, how to do it. Yeah, for weight training for sure. Weight training isn't my point of expertise either. That's why I found someone that knew a lot more than me. Um, and then we can talk. You and I can talk individually too if you get stuck on any of that stuff. Um, yep, yep, no problem. I don't coach them in the off season. I mean, we have a window where we can do individual work and stuff, and I will go do that with them in the summer. I can't do anything with them in the school year; it's against the rules. Um, and then, I mean, other than if I they can go to the weight room and that kind of stuff, but um, I coach a fall sport, so I don't tend to do anything with them in the spring. So they'll lift, they'll play AAU basketball, they'll do that kind of stuff, and then once school gets out, then we run our camp. They help at that, and then when we play in summer leagues and play in summer tournaments, I don't coach them. I zero. I have someone else do it, because I think it's really important about building relationships in the off season more than it is the X's and O's. Um, so I spend a lot of time trying to build relationships, so that the trust is there. So then when I do get on them and I do that kind of stuff, they know I care and I do. And when the times get hard and I'm getting on them, here's why I'm getting on them. But I mean, I would say I'm in the minority with that. Um, I just think they need another voice, and that's only if you have a great assistant, then that's a great way for them to learn too. Um, you know, here's what we're gonna do, blah 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 blah, and you can kind of build that. Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's good. I mean, if you want to coach for any length of time, you can't coach year round. You just can't do it. Um, yeah, you won't be married very long. Yes, and it's not healthy either. It's like you got to take breaks. You know, yeah. My wife says as long as I take her on spring break, I can keep coaching. So yeah, we're going to Sanibel. We're going to Sanibel this year, so that'll be fun. Yeah, we love Santa. Yeah, we love Sanibel Island. Yep. Oh, is it really? Well, we might have to have breakfast. You might have to come over and have breakfast. All right. Okay. I'll off air. I'll send it. I'll send you the dates that we're going, and then yeah, for sure. Well, we named our dog Sanibel. Oh, we love Sanibel Island. We've been going. Geez, Drew's 16. We probably been going since he was 4 or 5. We didn't go last year, but yeah, we love that. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. And the thing is, that what I love about Sanibel is we take our bikes and then we basically park the car and we bike everywhere, and it's like it's just it's not doesn't feel commercialized. I grew up going to St. Pete Beach, and it's like I don't want the high rise. You know, the beach is fine, but it's like I want like yeah, it doesn't feel commercialized. I know the people on Sanibel Island think it does, but it really doesn't feel commercialized at all. So yeah, no, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I did not know that. It's okay. Yeah, it's I've always told my wife, I said that's the school I want to teach at right there. The one that has like I think they're part of Fort Myers, I think. Um, yeah, but there's a school on Sanibel Island, and my son and I have actually gone over to and they have I think they have outside hoops that are covered that they practice in or something. I don't know. He always thinks that's cool. So, but yeah, that, that's my deal. That's my deal. We get to go on spring break. Yes, that would be really good. That would be really good. All right. Anything else? All right. You do that. All right. Thanks. See you guys. Bye. Yep. Bye bye. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, that was just a snippet over for coaches who want to get better. Um, figured out how to transport the stuff that I'm showing and talking about onto YouTube, but I will, and I'll figure out how to make it horizontal or landscape too. That will make it easier for everybody to watch. Have a good day, everybody.